This is your host, Seth Klebe of Watch the Tech. How's it going? Today is a super special episode. The reason being, today I have Corporate Bro coming onto the show. This has been a really long time in the making, and I'm just so excited that it's finally here. So the watch that I'm wearing today is my Vacheron Constantin 56 in petrol blue, but I've already reviewed this watch before, so I'm going to share another watch that's on my wish list. And that watch is the Cartier Tank Must Solarbeat. Now, the reason why I'm so intrigued with this watch is I love a tank in general. They're so classic. I think they look amazing dressed up and dressed down. I love the classic proportions of them. And I actually tried to get this watch, but then they discontinued it. And then Cartier sneakily brought it back. And so one night I was just, doom scrolling, and I saw that it was back on their website, and the love and passion for it came roaring back. So I might have to get it. We'll see one day. This episode is sponsored by Rocky Mountain Watches. Do you want a watch that's perfect for hiking, biking, climbing, but then you can also use that exact same watch to go to a super fancy dinner? That's the kind of specialization that Rocky Mountain Watches focuses in. So you should definitely check them out. I can't recommend them enough. So that's Rocky Mountain Watches. All right, let's get Corporate Bro in here.
Got my PlayStation headphones, so that's all I got.
I thought I heard Mario Kart making its way through my...
Yeah. Just hear gunfire from Call of Duty.
Yes, exactly. During the pandemic, I actually got into VR gaming, and I bought an Oculus the moment I tried it on for the first time, and I was like, this is the future. And then I also invested and bought some meta stock, and obviously,
Okay.
it's done pretty well since.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
yeah.
all right, okay. Genius investor over here.
Yeah. I mean, Meta's a pretty good bet. The big guys stay winning.
Yeah.
Why not?
He's actually Zuckerberg would be my Mount Rushmore of watch and tech podcast guests.
Well,
I'll never be able to reach him, but
Yeah, his watches are pretty outrageous. I just saw, what's his name? Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, walking around rocking two $500,000 watches, and then looking like a hobo. Other than that, he's really leaned into the LA look where you look homeless, but then wear a couple pieces of something that are ridiculously expensive.
Yeah. He's the one guy who can double wrist, and he's so rich he can just get away with it.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the thing with some of those guys.
Yeah,
it's funny.
yes.
Now I notice, movies and just characters in the you don't notice watches until you care about watches. So watches are always an if you know. Otherwise, people don't give a shit. They either give a shit or they just don't. There's very little in between. If you wear a loud watch, someone might say, I like your watch, but they don't know. But the people who do know, now I'm starting to see it. Now as I get more and more into it, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck. Yeah. I gotta go look it up. I gotta go look up what that watch is.
Okay, I love that. Was there one recently that you spotted and then you said to yourself after, oh shit, maybe I really am addicted to watches?
Well, unfortunately, it was Kevin Spacey in House of Cards. He's rocking the Portuguese IWC, which is the first watch I ever got of value. And I was like, oh, that watch looks sick, but it also looks really familiar. And then I was like, oh, damn, that's cool. Okay, so that's what that watch looks like on me. Only I'm not, vice president of the U.S. in a show.
Right. And then you also haven't been canceled and then uncanceled in real life, which I think arguably it's the better position to be in.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's been uncanceled. He hasn't emerged in a while. So I think he's stayed canceled. I just happen to be going back to House of Cards because I heard it was a good show. It's just unfortunate the context behind it.
It is a good show. Anyways, let me quickly announce you to the viewers here on Watch the Tech. I'm your host, Seth Klebe. But if you're in tech sales, you definitely know who I'm with. Maybe you even worked with the guy when he was an AE at Glassdoor. Maybe you watched his Salesforce Super Bowl commercial where he definitely upstaged Matthew McConaughey. It happened. Definitely. Maybe you saw his movie, Sales Are Dope, on Amazon, or was an early adopter like me and saw it when it was a show. Or
That's
maybe
a real one.
That is a real one. Yes. Or maybe you listen to the Demoted podcast with Corporate Natalie, my girlfriend's favorite person to follow on Instagram. But the point is, if you've ever seen any of this man's content, you have definitely laughed. Maybe you've also cried a little bit on the inside of how real it is in the tech sales world. But this is the Corporate Bro episode. So Ross, Corporate Bro, welcome, dude.
Thank you very much for having me. Sorry it took so long to get it going.
Oh, don't worry about it. I actually fully enjoyed the 11 months that I prospected into you to make this happen. I was going back last night while I was prepping, and I was like, oh, wow, it really was 11 months ago. So here we are.
Yeah. I mean, any deal worth closing has a long sales cycle. Bigger enterprise deals take longer to close. What can I say?
It's just science. It's
how
not
it
some
works. SMB bullshit. I'm not gonna, I'm not a one call close kind of
guy. Right, exactly. We dated a little bit. Took a while to get to the demo. You had a kid in the middle of that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then now we get to go shamelessly talk about watches. Definitely not during work hours.
Yeah.
This is not work hours. I did not just get off of a one-on-one with my boss.
There's never a better time.
There's never a better time. This is like my lunch break. It's all good. But dude, let's get into it. So first, I've got a scenario for you. I would be fascinated to know your answer on this. So let's just imagine for a second that it is your first day as an AE at a new tech company. And your sales manager walks in the room. What's the watch on his wrist that would say to you, oh my God, I need to go get a new job immediately? And then what's the watch that says, I'm going to go run through a brick wall for this person. I'm going to work so hard for them.
God, that's a good question. I guess like my hot take is I'm a Rolex hater. And I just feel like it's so cliche at this point. It's like every sales guy goes and gets a Rolex. It's like, do something different. I feel like there's so many Rolexes out there. They're all kind of like the same to me. There's no character behind them. There's no story. It's just like, it's a Rolex and like, therefore it's cool, but that's not cool to me. I like a little bit of depth to the watches. So I'm going to say a Rolex. Rolex doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to get a new job. In terms of what would I run through a brick wall? I mean, any like RM or Patek, like, I don't know, like it means they've balled at some point or they got a nice hand-me-down. But
right.
I think if I can ask them questions about the watches and they can talk about other watches, I'm probably more likely to run through a wall because I'm like, all right, they've got a sick, twisted, expensive habit that means they can afford it, which means they're doing pretty well. So, I mean, I had like the IWC it was a gift to me for graduation. And like, I didn't give a shit about watches. I just thought the watch was cool. And only I would say in the last year, like 2 years, did I start caring about watches. It used to be Jordans. I graduated basically from Jordans to watches. And I don't know if you can see any of the Jordans behind me. They're on the little desk over there. And then I've got racks of Jordans over there on the ground as well. And they were always supposed to represent like a milestone or something important. For me, a lot of it was like SKOs, like speaking engagements. If I did a speaking engagement, I could get a new pair of Jordans. And then I don't wear them because I like them to look sick. And then I was like, what am I doing? And
then you just have a bunch of shoes.
Yeah, I have a bunch of shoes. I have a bunch of shoes over here. They're like half of them are on the ground. This room, my wife hates this room. It smells like weed.
That's awesome. Well, maybe it's just where you stash it in just like creative places. You've got like your shoes where you put like the sativas. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, then they, I have to keep them all sealed because now that we have a kid, I'm like not allowed to smoke in the house. Like,
oh God,
so annoying. I have to go outside.
Rules.
Yeah, rules are dumb. Rules are dumb. But yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I admit, like, I'm still pretty early, I would say, in my watch journey.
Yeah.
I'm more curious about it than I am knowledgeable about it, I would say.
I remember when you hit me with that objection actually 11 months ago. And I was like, nah, dude, it's fine. Watch newbies are welcome here too, man. It's cool.
Yeah. I'm building out my wish list and so forth. And I am always like kind of looking, but I'm not allowed to buy them. I have to hit quota to buy them.
Got it. So I'm a wish list person as well because I just joined my first startup and I laid down the scepter and I said, I am not buying another watch until we go public, get acquired, some form of liquidity event, which I have no idea when that is because, I'm just a frontline sales leader and they don't tell me that shit. But what I've been doing and what I have in my phone is I just have a note of my wish list and it just keeps getting longer. I'm curious what is on your wish list.
Well, I try to like keep it somewhat reasonable, like something that I could actually like willing to go get. But I think the next one that I want is, I saw it on this another sales leader's wrist. They went through the IPO. And it was just so tight to me. And that is, it's another IWC watch. It's the pilot's watch. It's the Top Gun pilot's watch. I think it's called like a Ceratanium. It's basically black on black. I just feel like it's like leather jacket watch. It's like you can wear it around. And I'm a black on black guy. I have a Range Rover that's all murdered out. I go to the gym. I'm wearing black, all black everything. Mm-hmm. And so this watch in particular is just black on black. It can be used, class it up, class it down, can wear it everywhere, and it's just clean to me. And I'm a Top Gun freak.
Yeah, okay, like that. Yeah, you're speaking my language on the all black for sure. Actually, do you have the IWC with you?
Yes,
somewhere around.
It is not all black.
That's okay. That's okay.
But it's the black band, little strap there.
Dude, that's so pretty. Very clean. I love it.
And I like the classic look of IWCs. They're just, I don't know, they're clean.
See, this is actually where we differ, but also where we're the same is the black on black is pretty much just how I dress normally. I've actually just been begging a t-shirt company to sponsor this podcast. just pay me to wear your specific black t-shirt. I would be so happy. But I am a little bit of an IWC hater.
I'll
say it, right? I am.
Tell me why.
I can do that.
Yeah.
When I look at like the pilot motif, it just doesn't resonate with me. When I look at some of the dials, it just feels a little bit bland to me. Now, what I will say, and also I don't think the finishing of their movements are that like crazy high quality. But what I will say is where they, I think, really excel is they do a blue dial excellently. It is fantastic. I'm actually wearing one of my blue dial watches today. It's a Vacheron Constantin 56. Very much the use case for me was blue dial. I really wanted a blue dial. And I did look at some IWCs, but the full package of them, it just wasn't for me. But what I will also say is their new Ingenieur that's come out, that's like a little bit smaller size. That's not the pilot's watch. It's very much a sports watch. That to me, and it's like, Gerald Genta design. I don't really care about that, to be honest.
Yeah. But, what did you say that it was called?
The Ingenieur.
Oh, Ingenieur. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the new ones that they've done, a good friend of mine has one of the older ones, and it's just like, it's a thick boy for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a kind of a girthy looking guy.
I can't handle that amount of girth. That could be a clip. Yeah, that could be a clip later for sure. So I can't. But the new ones, they're thinner, they're smaller, they look really great. And so for the first time ever, I said to myself, like, I could go get one of these. And they do have an all blacked out version.
Yes.
Which is really sweet.
They do. And the thing is, I'm still trying to get sort of my staples. Like I do love crazy looking watches, really bright, kind of like centerpiece watches where I will go, all black, clean everything else, and then just have a watch that pops. I do want to be able to look at my collection in the future and have a wide color range. But I'm in that phase of, it's like, you need a gray suit, you need a black suit, you need a navy suit. And so I'm going through that sort of phase right now with watches. Like I have the blue dial with the Cartier Santos. Like, is that super original? No, but I feel like it's just a good one, good square watch to have in the collection. Like nobody's going to criticize you for that. It just kind of like is it terribly unique? No, but like it's kind of a staple to me anyway.
Dude, it's a great watch. Before you hopped on, since what I've been doing is I've been going through each watch that I have 9. And so episode by episode, I've kind of been doing like a mini review of those. But plot twist, I've run out of watches because now I've had more episodes. And so what I've been doing is a little bit of a wish list at the beginning of the episode. And on my wish list for this week is a Cartier Tank, the Solarbeat one. I added that to the phone wish list. What's the current favorite in the collection that you have?
So, I mean, I really only have 3, and I do try to rotate them. The favorite is the Moonwatch. I got the Tintin that I was searching for like 6 months, and that one was in here. This
let's see it.
Upside down. I don't know if my computer thing is
it's
good enough to show it up.
Yeah, with the racetrack.
Yeah, the race thing. And so, like, this isn't a watch for everyone, but a big part of it was I grew up reading Tintin, and I wanted the Tintin for my son. Like, I wanted that to be on my wrist when he was born. I got the little rocket ship that actually, again, I'll show it, the red checkered rocket ship. It's on his little nightstand next to his crib. And so I plan on reading those to him. And so that was like my watch milestone for him. And I, like, again, I'm not a huge chains like kind of bracelet guy. That one was way more sentimental than like, oh, this is going to be the sickest watch that everybody else is going to think is sick. I just, I didn't have a Speedy. Nice to have a Speedy. I liked the lore behind it too. They were going to do the partnership with the Tintin creator. They kind of like backed out of it. They don't make this watch anymore. And so I solicited out for a watch dealer and found a guy through Instagram who's a weird cat, but he was awesome. He, was sending me pictures. In fact, he got one sent to him and he was like, dude, I'm not going to lie to you. This one isn't, the condition's not good enough for what you're looking for. And he could have sent it to me and been like, fuck that. He's like, nah, I'm going to go out and find a better one. And this was like across 2 weeks. And he was just super on his shit with me, letting me know like every single piece, got me the whole package, the box, the whatever little like slip, all the things. Right. And then he sent me this book. I think the name of it's R is for Rolex, which is just basically a kid's book.
Yeah, it's the kid's book.
Yeah, the kid's book. And I was like, oh, that's nice little touch, And so I was like, this guy's, if I need, and when I need another watch, I'm going back to him. And he got it for me like about a week before the kid was born. So I got the pictures of me. I'm doing the Heisman, but the Tintin's on my wrist. I'm holding a baby as the football. And I love the lore, just kind of like behind these things. And so that's why that one in particular is the one I'm rocking a lot right now, just for pictures and so forth, just so I can prove to him that there's intent. But I go back podcasts like weddings, things like that. I will often go with Cartier or the Portuguese.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, it sounds like you found a really good dealer. They're not all that good, but this guy in particular, it sounds like he could have a hell of a job in a tech career.
I mean, he could. I mean, he's like the perfect blend of overly professional, like kind of weird to the point that I trusted him extra. I was like, you're kind of savantish. In like that sort of weird, obsessive way. He also deals in music boxes. And I'm like, okay, that's like a whole other level of collector stuff. Just little music boxes that make noise.
Think of that movie like Anastasia or something.
Yeah, I mean,
like
I don't
even
remember. But yes, like, so yeah, he was great. And so now I recommend him to all my friends. Actually, I'll shout him out. It's Chrono Thrills on IG. So
there we go.
His name's Bo.
All right.
His name's Bo. And he was the man. So I owe him that. I was like really pleased by that whole experience, especially because people are scared. You're gonna wire someone 10 plus grand, whatever, many thousands of dollars, and then you're just like, I hope you send me a watch. I hope this works out. And all you kind of have is trust. I mean, I'm sure you could probably do like escrow accounts, or there's other ways to do it. I didn't do that. I was just like, I trust this dude. He's got me the options, and it worked out. But similar to sending crypto to different wallets, you're like, it's out there. Right. It could be gone. I don't know.
Well, anyone that also says they deal in music boxes, they're not lying to you. That's just actually who they are.
Yeah. And he had a bunch of references, and I like reached out to some folks, including, do you know I think you might know the Rocky Mountain.
The sponsor of this episode, my friend.
There we go. Yeah. Whoever that dude's name is. He was like, oh yeah, Bo's the fucking man. I was like, all right, cool, good. That's what I need. That's what I needed to hear.
Nice.
Because otherwise, Bo just stole my money.
Yes, I'm glad we're in the alternate universe where it actually worked out for you.
Where it all worked out flawlessly.
100%. So, you're earlier to collecting. How would you describe like your watch style today? It'll evolve, but like, how would you describe it to someone else?
Yeah, I think it's like, I don't know, more personal. Like there's just reasons that I want these watches beyond the I want other people to like these watches sort of thing. Like the way I feel Rolex is sort of clout chasing. I just don't feel that about the watches. I want it to be diverse ultimately. I want the different, powder blue dials. I was looking at some like Breitling Navitimer type stuff, and some of those are really fucking loud and huge. And I don't know if I have the wrist for them, but I don't know if I quite have a style yet, because I don't have enough to say like, oh, I see myself trending this direction. I really am trying to intentionally be diverse about, and if you have recommendations, which I'm sure you do, I'd love to see your wish list at some point just so I can learn about what else is out there.
I'll send it to you.
I'm talking to ChatGPT a lot,
Okay, there we go. But so. I think you're actually hitting on I think the cardinal rule of watch collecting for me. Anyone that's newer to it, interested in getting one in my network, I will always say to them, don't buy a watch because of how you think others will perceive it. Buy it because you want the fucking thing.
Yep.
And it means something to you, or you could see yourself having it. Like if you think it's a cool watch, it is a cool watch. There's so much variety. Like, dude, I have some watches in my collection that I know people probably they see it on my wrist, and I'm sure they have an opinion. Fucking care.
Yeah.
It's mine, and I got it for me.
Right.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I have some buddies who are, starting to get the bug as well. And, I'm in a fortunate position where I can probably spend more on watches than they can. And they're like, oh, I wish I could do, this or that. And I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter what sort of price range you're going into. If you think, like you said, if you think it looks sick, period. Right. And there's a lot of watches that are cheaper that look the same as the expensive ones. It's more just like you say, you have the expensive one. There's a lot of watches that look the same,
100%.
So,
yes, absolutely.
I don't know. It is a slippery slope because watches generally just aren't cheap. It's not like, they're not quite like Jordans, which again, Jordans can be very expensive. Not that I was buying super expensive Jordans. I just wanted Jordans.
So going back to your network and some people who might be interested in watches or getting interested in watches, is there someone in your network that's got just the best watch game that you admire?
Yeah, I mean, he's not like a super close friend. He's a classic guy who's had multiple exits, and he's rocking the RM watches and constantly, in casual situations where I'm like that is terrifying that you're bringing this out right now. Like, what if you break it? What if you try? We're golfing. We're I don't know, at a bar, which I don't know. He balls, so it doesn't really matter. And you look at those things, and they're robots. Those watches just look like robots. I mean, they are statements. And similar, he's rocking a t-shirt and jeans, and then those, and I'm like, well, that's like a $500,000 watch. So okay, can I try it on? He didn't let me try it on.
Wait, he did or he didn't?
He did.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, no, he didn't give a shit. That's the thing.
You're not going to break it unless you happen to have a hammer and you take it to it immediately.
Right. But you're still holding something that you're like, okay, this is more valuable than most of the things I own combined.
It's more valuable than my life, probably.
Yeah. I don't have life insurance up to this amount, so so it literally is worth more than my life. But I don't know. I don't know if I could even get myself to do that, to spend that, at least on those watches in particular. I mean, those are really cool, but they're so loud. They're bordering on obnoxious. But it would be cool to have one. I know I said that earlier because it would be cool to have one, but it's not the classic look that I would like typically.
No, they are definitely they're a bit different. Actually, the most expensive watch I ever tried on was a Richard Mille. I was in Singapore with one of my good buddies, and we finished a day of hiking. We come back to our hotel. We're staying at the Marina Bay Sands, which is just this awesome hotel. We had no business staying there to begin with, but we did it anyways. And there's a Richard Mille boutique on the ground floor.
Oh, that's the case. I was going to say there had to be a boutique there or something.
Yes.
Just go check it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're in workout clothes, super sweaty from a full day of hiking. We walk in there, and the saleswoman, she sees I'm wearing, it's an Omega Glowmaster with a NATO strap, so completely inconspicuous.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, you like watches? And I was like, I do. And she said, pick out any watch and you can try it on. And I was like, I don't want to do that, ma'am. My friend was, of course, gassing me up. He's like, do it. So I pick one. It's all black, skeleton front, skeleton back. I'm like, yeah, all right, we'll try this on. We sit down. She puts it on my wrist. I'm like, all right. My first thought was, this thing's super light. Like, this is like a Swatch. I don't know if this is
It
it
was
for me.
light. It felt
It
light.
was so light, so light. And then I look at the price tag, not light. It
Not light.
was
Not light.
995,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, this is $1 million USD watch on my wrist, and I immediately, I'm pretty sure I just turned like beet red, and I just stuck my hand out, and I was like, please take this off of me right now.
Yeah.
I should not have this on me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, those watches are so aspirational, and I'd still rather buy 500 cheaper, cool looking watches and have that collection, that option, than that single watch.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, in the fantasy world, there's a couple of theirs that I just think they're just pieces of art, extremely expensive pieces of art. The samurai face one, the skull face one, like completely weird and whimsical. Oh, the candy edition ones, the bonbon collection. I don't even know. Like, have you seen those?
I haven't seen the candy one. No, I've seen the skull one for sure.
Yeah, that's the one that Posty wears. God, I hope you're doing well, Post.
I mean, they're just like, they are art. That's like the intent. Like, they are just standalone, like pieces. I don't know, that they like really are define that, like a piece of art. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of, I'd feel weird wearing that out and about for the most part. Yeah. Like, I do like some flashy stuff, but then there's a certain level where you kind of like rubbing it in people's faces.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
For
it's like
sure.
driving a Maybach. It's like, you could you do it? Yeah, but like a lot of people aren't going to like you just off the rip because of that. Maybe it's not as much with watches, and I'm overthinking it. Not that I have to make this choice. So
right. Like, do I not show the world?
Yeah. Should I get one of these? Like, no, you can't. You can't.
Right.
So you won't. But I mean, what's your kind of like advice for watch research? You know, like, I'm all over the Reddit stuff. I'm chatting, you know, I'll go to ChatGPT or whatever and be like, hey, build me a diverse watch collection under like 50K across 4 watches, 5 watches, or something like that. I'll just like give it parameters, and then I'll go look up the watches on my own and so forth. But what would you tell someone? Because people are starting to come to me, and I'm like, bro, I'm not qualified.
That's a great question. Thanks for asking. I think for me, it actually all starts with talking to someone else in my network who has watches, they're interested in watches. And I'm a part of a watch club here in Atlanta. There's also a great one in San Francisco called 49 Crowns. Check them out if you're unfamiliar.
I am.
And like, they're a great group. And so like, that's just a way to get exposure. And then what I've found for myself is I'll find a brand or a model that I get really interested in, and then I will not stop consuming content about the brand or that model until I've learned so much to the point that even if I've never tried the watch on, I almost feel like I understand it. And I know what it would be like to have it.
That's what I felt like with the Tintin. I was just reading all these articles about it. I was kind of obsessed with it for a while. I just kept looking at, very much longingly trying to understand everything about it. So that's actually a good point. That's the only time I've had that. But it was similar. Like, I got kind of obsessed with a single one and consuming a lot of content. So that's a good sign then. Okay.
Yes, it's a good sign that you're on it. So when I'm pulling the trigger, I'm thinking about it from the perspective of like, I'm going to have this watch till I die. So if I'm going to hit like the purchase button, I want to feel like I'm going to have this watch forever.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Like that's going to be in my will. If they actually are in my will.
So similar to my, like, I don't know, analogy of in your collection, you need the gray suit, the navy suit, the black suit. Like, is there an equivalent for watches? Is there sort of like, as you think about just like the super base level, whether it's a style, a color, a look, I don't know.
Yes. It's different for everyone, but especially earlier in my collecting, I had these use cases in my mind that I wanted to get. And so the first was I wanted a watch that was rugged, that I could travel with, that I could swim with, that I could kind of like do it all. And so that was my Omega Globemaster, and it was pretty easy to change the strap so I could, still swim with it, travel with it. It's leather normally. And then I was like, okay, I also need to have a kind of like a more dressy watch.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a steel sports watch, which did end up being a Rolex. I'm personally a fan. It's not so much about the brand. It's just, I think they're so well made. And the integrated bracelets are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did want a blue watch, blue dial.
Yep.
I did want one with a green dial. Those are just like two of my personal favorite colors. Where
I would love to get a green dial.
Yeah, there's some great ones out there. And then the last main use case for me was I wanted a completely inconspicuous, quiet luxury travel watch. So I could be anywhere in the world, feel safe, and still be wearing, a hell of a watch on my wrist. And so once I kind of like sniped those down, then I was like, oh God, there's other things that I like want. Like, when I picked up a Blanc Pawn 50 Fathoms, there is no use case that fits into. Like, I've kind of got everything at that point. I just think it's a super cool watch. I'm going to wear it all the time, and it looks damn good.
Yep.
I had no the Audemars Piguet Music Edition Royal Oak that I bought. There is no use case for that.
No, that's on the wish list.
That specific one?
Royal Oak. Yeah,
Royal Oak.
Royal Oak. Yeah, it's Royal Oak.
I was going to say no one has the music edition on their wish list.
No, I didn't even know there was a music edition. I just have Royal Oak on there. What is your opinion on G-Shock and like Casio?
Nothing wrong with it at all. When I studied abroad on semester at sea, I wore a G-Shock the entire time. That watch is fucking amazing. I like the solar. They're rugged. Like, dude, they're so great. Same with Casio. Dude, if it's good enough for Bill Gates, it's good enough for the rest of us.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I don't know. I'm just curious, like, you are someone who, even though like you yourself aren't like carrying a quota anymore, the clips that you come out with are so like in tune with what's going on. It's mind blowing. I want to know, like, what is your opinion on where do you think the future of software sales is going?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't think salespeople are going to be replaced by AI. I think SDRs are in big trouble. I think like marketing, I think unfortunately everything is going to downsize and everyone's going to become more efficient. You're going to start to see these billion-dollar companies run by 3 people. But sales is still going to be really important. Like, nobody wants to spend $1 million without talking to someone. No one will feel comfortable just like self-serving $1 million on like a single piece of software. Of course, you could run $1 million of ads on Facebook or something and feel fine doing that. But I still just think sales is the number one skill there is. I think it will matter potentially more in the future. It'll be less volume based. It'll be, if you're like the salesperson at a company, you're kind of like, I don't know, the Navy SEAL. You're like the elite Delta Force person of that company. Like, it's it'll be one of the most important roles, if not the most important role. Everything else, I always joke, it's like, or not joke, it's serious now, but you either build the product or you sell the product, and everything else supports those two functions. And we're seeing AI build product. We're not really seeing it sell product, so I do think the world will consolidate. I think tech has had its head up its ass for a really long time. Arrogant, just like ignorant, just self-righteous in a million different ways, but it's not going anywhere. That's the other piece. It's just like not going anywhere. Tech is the future. Tech will keep being tech. Tech may change a little bit, but like software is not going anywhere. It is hard to say, but I really don't think sales is going anywhere in particular.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you for probably this simple principle that for anyone who has been in a sales role, that like you can rehearse everything. You can have a talk track, you can have a list of objections, proof points, whatever, but you're working with other human beings and people who they have their own backgrounds, desires, histories, and things will always change. So you have to be able to iterate on a human level and still relate to people on a human level. And so that work it's not a repeatable thing, right? It's custom to an extent every single time.
Right. Well, and that's why the call scripts don't necessarily work. That's why the AI bots right now don't work that well, because there is so much nuance to it. And again, that's why I just think the people to people thing is going to keep mattering, because it just isn't cookie cutter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
As much as we try.
Right. I also desperately need it to keep working. Otherwise, I will not be buying watches ever again.
I think it'll keep working for a little while. I don't think this is like a 5-10 year thing. I do think it's probably like a 20-30 year thing where, I don't know, things are going to look fundamentally different. Again, I just don't think sales is going away, but you're going to have to be really good to keep doing it. You know, I think the bottom will fall out. Like, it's not going to be Salesforce hiring 10,000 salespeople. You know, it'll be maybe 1,000 salespeople for a company that big. So I don't know. I just don't know a lot of reps who are like, I have too many deals. I need somebody else to cover some of these deals and do some of these deals for me. But maybe they're out there. Tell me what company that is. Because that would be really, maybe OpenAI. I don't know. Too much deal velocity.
Maybe. Yeah. No, that's great perspective. Man, saying Salesforce also reminds me, I'm like, Mark Benioff would be a fun person to get on this podcast. I know he wears an Apple Watch probably, except for at home. I bet he's just got the most bonkers watch collection, but no one else will see it.
I think he does. Yeah, they like try to keep him out of, his PR team makes him really tough to access. They don't want him saying stuff. I've been trying for years to get to him. I'm at all the people right below him who all call him Mark, and I just will never get to meet him. It's fine. For the best. I've made fun of him for years.
Well, awesome, Ross. Dude, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course.
What's going on in your life? What would you like to share with our viewers?
What's going on? I mean, right now right before this, I'm working on the season finale of the second, season 2 of SAD. You can follow me at Corporate Bro on all social medias, or Ross Pomerantz on LinkedIn, or Corporate Bro on LinkedIn. I've got both. And I'll be back with another watch at some point. See? This year's trending in the right direction that I may be able to pull it off and get one at the end of this year, but we'll see. We'll see. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Fantastic.
You can watch SAD on Amazon. I guess that's the other one. You can watch SAD on Sales Are Dope on Amazon. It's funny how it goes from like, once it's like YouTube for free in episode form, and I get more people to want to watch it now that it's on Amazon and it costs $5. It's weird. It's weird. People are like, oh, now I can go watch. Like, dude, it was on YouTube for you. Like, go watch it.
Right.
But it's like they needed the proof point. I don't know.
People like to pay, right? Higher the cost, the more value, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Perceived value, at least. And it's like, YouTube's not on a lot of my friends' habits. It's like, I don't consume too much for fun content on YouTube. It's all how-to stuff. So I'm old. I'm old like that.
Well, then I'm going to leave you with this. YouTube, watch content, match made in heaven.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
the
sure.
Videos.
I'm trying to find a watch brand to get to sponsor me, and then I'll rock all their watches all the time.
Dude.
That would be
same.
Got to get into Omega somehow. I need to get into Omega.
I have this dream of, and I've actually pitched this to some brands. One in particular completely laughed in my face. And I was just like, listen, here's the pitch. You have normal people in your commercials and campaigns wearing your watches. Like, I get it. It's really cool when Bradley Cooper's in a watch. It's really cool when Ryan Gosling's in a watch. But actually, how about just someone who is not a humanitarian saving the polar bears? Or, well, I guess a humanitarian wouldn't necessarily save the polar bears, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is, like, just someone who is really good at the job that they do, and they wear a watch and they wear it well. Why are we not having ads like that? And can I please be in one? I'm pretty good at my job. Please let me do this.
Yeah. They want, all these watch brands want it to be aspirational. They don't want everyone wearing their watches, even if they say they do. Like, I don't know. It's tough out there. They've created a good ethos of like, God, I got to have that. Yeah. Let me know when you figure it out.
I will.
I'll let you know too.
Yeah, perfect. Please do. Maybe we can.
I'm not an F1 driver, so I don't know if it's going to happen for me, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm like really good at picking up the phone and getting people to talk to me. Can we? Yeah, like, why is that? That should be celebrated. Anyways, thank you so much, Ross, Corporate Bro, for having you on. It was such a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
Thank you to our sponsor as well, Rocky Mountain Watches. Seriously, when you are ready for that next watch, John over there, the guy's awesome.
We've DM'd a little bit, so he seems like a cool dude.
Perfect. Yes, very. And for everyone else, thank you so much for watching. Please like, please subscribe. Once again, thank you also for helping us get to 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. That is fantastic. And we will see everyone out there. Bye.
Thanks, Seth. Later.